In the Kanban system, there exist three types of Kanban: production, withdrawal, and supplier. Each one deals with processes, supermarkets, and internal and external suppliers. Production Kanban are the first form of Kanban typically implemented in a business. They trigger upstream processes to create and replenish items that downstream processes have consumed. The Production Kanban takes the place of standard production orders in an MRP push system. By implementing Production Kanban, you are taking a major step in moving your operations to a pull system. Information often displayed on a Production Kanban includes, but is not limited to, the upstream process, the downstream process, the part name, the inventory number, shelf life, the shelf or storage location, the container quantity, lead time requirements, cycle time, and a picture of the part. You will always find a Production Kanban in one of 5 places, with its associated item either in storage or in transit, on a Kanban board, on a Kanban post, in transit back to the upstream process, or in the hands of the upstream process. If the Kanban is attached to an item in storage, that means there is no call to action for the production process. When Kanban are on a Kanban board or a Kanban post, that means downstream processes have removed and consumed the item from storage and replenishment is needed. Finally, if the Production Kanban is with the upstream process, that means work has begun or is scheduled to begin shortly. The second type of Kanban is the Withdrawal Kanban. It is used to track and authorize transportation of items between locations. Withdrawal Kanban are used in conjunction with supermarkets. Withdrawal Kanban are useful because they track moving products, provide information to the receiver, transporter, and producer, and address cycle and lead times that cannot respond quickly to downstream demand. Withdrawal Kanban are used between supermarkets and downstream processes. Downstream processes pull items from the supermarket as needed, using the authorization of a Withdrawal Kanban to do so. A Withdrawal Kanban can be found in one of 4 places: with its associated item in transit, with the person walking with the Kanban back to the supermarket, on the item waiting for production at the downstream process, or at the supermarket waiting for additional Withdrawal Kanban to trigger a Production Kanban. This last situation will be unique to each process supermarket. If Withdrawal Kanban immediately trigger a Production Kanban, implying that the upstream process has the capability to replace items on demand, then the Withdrawal Kanban can travel back with the item and operator to the downstream process. However, if the upstream process has capacity constraints, that will require multiple Withdrawal Kanban to trigger a single Production Kanban. A set number of Withdrawal Kanban will need to be gathered on a Kanban board or a Kanban post before a Production Kanban is triggered. This number depends on the analysis of downstream demand and the capabilities and constraints of the upstream processes. If it were determined that 3 Withdrawal Kanban were needed to trigger a Production Kanban, then each of the 3 Withdrawal Kanban would have a designation of 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and 3 of 3 on their individual cards. Information on the Withdrawal Kanban will be the same as the Production Kanban with the addition of 1 figure. That is the number of Withdrawal Kanban required to trigger a Production Kanban. Value streams with longer cycle times or large batches are more likely to use multiple Withdrawal Kanban to trigger a Production Kanban. This is because individual withdrawals should not signal production. Withdrawal Kanban authorize the movement of items between control points. Permanently attaching Withdrawal Kanban cards to transportation carts or containers can sometimes be a better solution than having loose Kanban cards. This works because the Withdrawal Kanban is being transported with the item. Utilizing this technique, companies can further reduce the chances of losing Kanban cards. The main reason they are removed and stored in the first place is in cases where multiple withdrawal Kanban trigger a single production Kanban. The last type of Kanban is the supplier Kanban. While production and withdrawal Kanban both signal internal processes, supplier Kanban communicate with your external material or component suppliers. This type of Kanban is often the last to be implemented because it requires your suppliers to be Kanban capable as well. Internally, you will need both smooth operations and a well-established Kanban system before taking your ideas further upstream to a supplier. This enables you to assist your supplier if they need help with their Kanban implementation. As with other Kanban, supplier Kanban are to be delivered on demand and should take into account the supplier's capabilities. Be sure to consider their delivery quantities and schedules when deciding on the metrics to include on your supplier Kanban. The supplier Kanban is similar to the withdrawal Kanban in that they both signal for the replenishment of parts. It differs by communicating with entities outside of your organization. Supplier Kanban usually contain the following information: the part name, your inventory number, the supplier's inventory number, the quantity, the supplier company, your company, the transportation schedule, the delivery date, the delivery gate location, the shelf location, and your company's contact name and number for the specific Kanban. To better understand how each production, withdrawal, and supplier Kanban work in your specific environment, it's best to see them in action in common production scenarios.